What's going on, guys? Welcome back. We are chilling here in another Discord meeting. We're going to do a deeper dive and go over exactly what stocks we want to keep an eye on in the market, what sectors are hot out there, and what everybody's kind of watching, because we haven't really dove deep since we were below a 21-day moving average. So check out this intro, and then we'll look and see what the S&P 500 did today on 9/11. All right, guys, we're back. We got a couple of people in the Discord meeting with us right now, so if you guys hear any background noise or if you hear anybody else talking, it's just one of the Discord members, which, by the way, if you're interested after watching this video, click the More button down below. We have a link tree. You can click the Discord. 2 reasons why you should join. If you have a heart of gold and an open mind, this is the place to find a process. So let's jump right into it, guys. What's going on? What up, Beef Stewie, Dan Bob, Predator, Jimmy, Swervo? Predator, you made it on time. What's going on?
I feel safe. Hey,
what's going on, dude? Dan Bob, how you feeling this morning, dude? This afternoon, I should say. I hope you're feeling better, brother. What's going on, Norm? Good to see ya. Swervo, what's up? Good to see you guys.
Hey, how you doing?
All right, guys. Let's just check out. I'm not going to run through all the indices. I just want to show you the SPY. So if we look at the S&P 500, you can see we bounced right off this area that I drew. Okay, it's not magic. It's just an area of support. We bounced off that area of support. I talked about it this morning about how we landed and we closed. So you can see this candle right here, right up underneath that 50-day moving average. I said we're probably going to see some resistance here. First thing in the morning, it just popped, I believe, just above it, and then it just fell. And I was like, see, I told you, And then subsequently, by the end of the day, we not only closed higher than the 50, but we closed higher than all the moving averages. And if you look at the exponential moving averages, you'll see the 10 is just trying to get above the 21. The 21 is above the 50. And we have this big wick off the bottom. So it shows potential for a bigger push. And another thing here that you can see is it did it finally on higher volume. Now, one of the Discord members asked a great question, and I had this kind of internal fight. It was, do we need to see another follow-through day? Well, I know after we broke these lows, right? We broke our 21-day moving average, and we were waiting for a follow-through day, right? And we had all of this. We got our follow-through day right here. This was technically our follow-through day. This is the follow-through day that really got everybody excited. Then we started putting capital to risk. We traded sideways, and we had what was called an expectation breaker. The S&P 500 broke down, and we were risk off right here below a 21-day moving average. We traded sideways and pulled down even further, finding support at 540, and now kicking back up above all moving averages. Now, I want to tell you guys, and I want to preface this properly, I am risk on because we're above a 21-day moving average. And if I follow these to a T, I might only be risk on for a day, and then the very next day be risk off and miss these potential things. I completely missed the whole Japanese carry trade because when we started to lose momentum, I started to lose hope, okay? Now, I always have hope in America and the S&P 500. You guys know the drill. But we are back above a 21-day moving average. I have called my financial advisor. I am being risk back on. I missed this little pullback in the overall market. Good for me, right? I exited here, missed this, back in here. Everything's fine. Everything's safe. If we break down below this, I'll exit out again for close enough to break even. Okay, so that's just where we are at. We are risk on. We are out of the weeds here. We're not in the clear, but we are very close to all-time highs that we couldn't get over earlier. We pulled back, made a new lower high. Now, this really is my line in the sand. If we break down through this, I'm going to be a little bit more bearish, but this here is the main low that we have to break. Everything is still fine until we break that 510. I think even better is if we break the 200. That is when you know things are really rough. But right now, things are still shaping up. Do you guys have anything that you want to add to the S&P 500? And I just want to focus just on the S&P 500. We can look at like the RSP, but I really like looking at the S&P 500. It's been doing really, really well for me lately. Just kind of using this. So any questions, comments, or concerns about this? I really see the only resistance is going to be right there at the all-time highs, guys, for very clear and obvious reasons, right? It's a base. It's a base here. And now that we're getting above this and we're getting above it on volume, if we get a push through, a follow through day technically off of this, that would be awesome. Or a follow through day within the end of the week or the beginning of next week would be absolutely beautiful for the stock market. But as of right now, we're just moving up on higher volume. We're above all the key moving averages. So it's looking good. It's looking good. I don't want to say the wrong thing. This thing will start tumbling. So I have a few stocks that I can bring up, but I want you guys to have a list. What I want to do now is just go through the sectors, and we'll just do it kind of quick. And also, one last thing I want to show you too. If you take, and I know a lot of you guys are reading about anchored VWAP and stuff. One thing, I was watching Brian Shannon today, and I just wanted to do it live while I was in front of you. If we take anchored VWAP and we grab it at the peak here, you'll notice that we are now above that anchored VWAP. And if we take it off the lows right here, you will see that we are above that anchored VWAP. Okay, so if you invested anytime in this area and after, or this area and after, you are on average, your average investor, the average accumulative price action is going to be above. You're going to be in the money. So that's a really good sign, a really bullish sign to see continuation. Okay, usually this is an area that is very tough to get through, very hard to get through. This is going to be your final boss. And this is this way through the Russell, through the mid caps, through all of these. Okay, you'll see that actually small caps are having the hardest time, so I take that back. So let's take a look at Bitcoin really quick, because I know that there's a couple that were brought up in the Discord here. We grab the top of this for anchored VWAP. I don't even know if it lets me. There we go. Nope. That's odd. But anyway, let's run through the sectors. So XLK, this is going to be your technology. This is like the QQQs. Still below a 50-day moving average. It's starting to form like a really big flag here. It more or less looks like NVIDIA than anything. Then we have XLE. This is your energy. It took a huge hit today. Energy is the worst right now. It's the absolute worst. Energy is just starting to plummet now. XOP, so this is your gas and exploration. If you guys aren't aware, gas took a big heavy hit recently. This is XLC. It's trying to hold on to its uptrend, but it's below all their moving averages. So, you know, when you look at communications, it's still not the hottest sector. Whereas to XLU is still trending above its 10-day moving average. XLP, which is the consumer staples, had a down day today, but held the 21-day moving average. So it's still one of the hotter sectors. So XLU, XLP, and XLV had a very nice buy up, an undercut and rally, if you will, today, which subsequently saved this stock. You know, it undercut all these and then just got soaked right back up. We have XLI, which is industrials, above its 50-day moving average, trying to hold on to the 21. The consumer discretionary, surprisingly, is doing very well. Very surprising. Usually, well, I wouldn't say usually, but if we think about this just for a second, with staples, consumer staples, and utilities being higher, usually those are your defensive stocks. So your discretionary, you would imagine, would be considerably lower because people are fearing spending that money, right? But it looks like the fear is not there so much. And then, of course, we have biotech. So I am in a biotech right now. We can go over why I took that trade. But right when we started to break through that 21-day moving average, I took what my alerts gave me. And one was, I'll just bring it up here in a minute. But biotech is above that 10-day moving average, above its 50-day moving average, and still trending. Now, I would personally say this isn't the hottest sector, but since January of last year, it has been very fruitful. Okay, so how much longer is this going to last? I don't know, but what I did know is we had a nice move today in biotech, and I want to see if there's going to be continuation or not. So we'll see very, very soon. One of the biggest hits, though, was XLF. So this is the financials, guys. Right here's your heat map. Look at the financials on this. Just red, red, red. Just bad. And energy minerals, bad. They just got smacked down. Commercial services and LLY really is what held up the health technology. So XLF, you see it got a big pullback right onto that 50-day, got soaked right back up. So that was a big hit. That was a big hit right there for XLF. And I got one more I want to show you. That is the real estate sector. The real estate sector is still doing very, very well. So now, just to summarize this, utilities, consumer staples, and real estate. Those are our three biggest ones. We still have biotech and health still holding out very, very well. And we're starting to see some money come into other sectors as well. So those are our leaders, not our laggers. Now for the stocks that I have pulled aside, here actually right here, B-Stu, is that FSLR that we were talking about earlier. They got a big pop on volume here, guys, and you know this is clean energy. You know, First Solar is probably one of the best in what they're doing right now, and you could take what I'm saying lightly on that. I say that because they're popping up places all around here. You know, and I know that they're a real company because I see them doing real things. I know brothers of mine who have gotten paid for building some of these buildings. So I know that they're doing things. So First Solar might be something that sets up in the near future as we got a nice base right where it's sitting right now. And if it breaks above this base, that might be profitable. But what I mean is I would like to see these moving averages flatten back or catch back up to each other, start lining up properly, and then let this pull back and ride on one of those moving averages before we try to get involved in this choppy looking stock. Okay. Somebody brought up Tesla today. I think it was Danny. We are creating new higher lows here. We do have this this amazing downtrend that it broke, pulled back below, now riding on top of it one more time, coming more increased volume here. This could be a potential buy area, you know, this 233, depending on where you want your risk at. But still, I think Tesla needs to give me a much more obvious area to enter. I've been tripped up on Tesla before, and I think there's better and faster moves, but we'll see on that. AVGO pops up on my list. This moves 4.5%. This isn't anything really to kind of gawk about, except for maybe something like this, okay? Looks more like a sell here to me, like a short because of this downtrend, but we'll see very, very soon what happens with that. Now going right off of my watch list, the September watch list, I'm going to tell you right now, SOC broke down. Actually, it didn't. We can keep this on the list. This is the stock I took today. I took CSTL. Now, I only took 200 shares, and I took it at the final place you possibly could have taken it. Now, my ADR, where I got in, my ADR was a little bit higher than the low of the day. But I want you to know that I was very comfortable with taking this because I only took it on 2/3 of my share size, and I'm very comfortable with being in a double base, okay? So if you look at this stock here, you'll see we get our first base and we get a second base right here, okay? That's right where I took it, is at the break of that second base. Now, I will say this, I had two other alerts, and one of them was right here. But because I am out working, I could not be in front of my phone or my computer at the time of this breakout. So I was happy to take it when it broke out here. And we also did all of this on higher volume, as when we pulled back, we had that volume price contraction. So that is just absolutely beautiful to me. So we're going to see what actually comes of this. I'm up about a little over a half an hour so far on this trade, but this is kind of one of those where I'm just going to hold on to it, see what it does. I'll let it bounce around here for a little bit, but my max loss on this is $200, guys. You know, I'm using this low of day. I'm going to try and play this momentum, try and catch it, let it continue. And if it continues, then I'm happy. If it wants to break back down and break these lows, then I know that this is not the right stock for me. So we'll see what happens in the near future. Let's see. I have EVH on here. I'm still waiting to see if this thing wants to set up. It broke its previous low, so it needs to make a new higher low now, maybe right on the 21-day moving average. But to me, this is pretty close to just breaking down. I don't really care for it. It's not uniform. ANNX, this isn't really following a moving average too much. I'm just here because of the big trend break, the new higher lows. So if you take the moving averages out, I still like this structure. The longer the structure, in my opinion, after I've seen this so many times, the longer your base or the longer your trend structure, the less these moving averages are going to show anything. But when they break out, they still make big moves. All right, so as long as we're making new higher lows and new lower highs, I'm still comfortable with this. Now it's creating this base type formation right here as well. So a break of 638 on ANNX, that's just something I've got my eye on. Also AXGN, my alert went off for this today. I didn't take it because I did not see the volume on the break. So I just held off, which I'm glad it didn't take off without me. I really like the look of this, especially after the undercut and rally. Okay, the undercut and rally is kind of like, you know, they sell off, and then all the weak investors, they sell too because they panic. And then the big buyers come in and buy up all those orders, and then they raise it right back up here. And they're getting ready to buy and push through whoever's stopping them here, which is going to increase the demand, and it's going to continue to head higher. That's just kind of the theory behind these undercut and rallies. But more oftentimes than not, in a bull market, these will have continuation and they will head higher. Again, it did it on higher volume today, so that, you know, that's a good sign. We'll see if it can actually get above today's high. And I could go over quite a few more. But I know that some of you guys were in COM. We talked about COM and its trend break here. We talked about, I forget the name of it, PSNL, was it? PSNL. Yep, PSNL. So this thing had a nice breakout. Here's the new higher low, and this is where you'd want to take it. Just move this over here. But because we're below a 21-day moving average on these, I did not take it. But these are still nice ones to take. And I'm curious, guys, what are you guys watching? Is there anything that you got your eyes on? I'm just going to keep listing through these, but I would really love for you guys to interrupt me and let me know what you're watching, or post it in the water cooler chat if you don't mind. Kava did its bounce off the 10-day. It's looking really good. I had high hopes for this PRCT. If you guys look, this is what I was expecting, and for it to break out, but it broke down. And then it's starting to get too choppy. So now I will not play PRCT. Remember, if you guys remember, I played this as a stock and play, and I made over $2,000 off this trade, which was nice to do in one day, you know. And then, you know, I sold off most this day and sold off most the next day because it didn't have continuation, or further continuation, I should say. With that being said, I was hoping it was going to reset back up so I could have taken it on this break, but it did not. It broke down, and now look at it. It's chopping down, it's chopping up. I don't like the looks of that. I don't want to be in that volatile action, and I'm going to pass. So PRCT's off my list. We have OFIX. I don't know if I like this one. It's got a basing top, but it's not really following any moving averages. Predator, what stock were you watching that you've traded the past couple days here?
LASE. LASE.
LESE?
LASE.
Gotcha. Yeah, Lace.
Yeah.
I know that thing
and
was
I have
going
my eyes on
parabolic.
SATA.
Yeah, that thing really had a
ZETA
pull
was one
back
of those.
there. When did it do that pullback? Was that pre-market? Probably. Let's see.
No, that was when it opened.
Oh, right at market open this morning. Wow.
Yeah, it was wild.
Yeah, that is wild.
Oh.
But that's the beautiful thing about having a stop loss when you're looking at something like this. So you played this, played this. And you know what's funny? So you seen this, and I sent you RYDE, right? Now watch this.
Yeah.
There's RYDE. Look what happened to Ride. You see? It's the same thing.
There were multiple halts this morning.
Yeah.
There were five halts that occurred this morning.
Oh yeah. Well,
And-
that's pretty common, honestly.
Yeah. Do you know why they occur?
Halts, yeah, because they move
Yeah.
outside of a specific price range. It's like 10%, I believe, and then
Yeah,
they're forced to halt for, I think, a minute or 5 minutes. Depends on
5 minute minimum.
5 minute minimum. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. I was like, wow, man, that's crazy.
So Beef Stewie just brought up VNO, and I gotta say, even for a slow mover, if you're into slow movers, this is a nice looking stock. You can see it's held its 10-day moving average except for its spook on its earnings. Came right back up, followed the 10-day again, and it's just trying to hold right now. We got some volume coming in, and if you really want to zoom in on this and try to make a trade out of this, this is really simple. You could look at something like this, and taking it here. What I don't like is it doesn't make new higher lows here. So I maybe use this as another entry area, like a base right here. So that way it forms a new higher low somewhere here if it pulls back. And then you can say this has a new higher low, but right now it created a new lower low. So do keep that in mind. But I like it. I like VNO. What else we got,
I have
guys?
one that you and I talked about before.
Okay.
We have both agreed that it looked interesting, but we also mutually agreed there was something about it we didn't like, but really couldn't put our finger on.
Okay.
And that's ZETA. ZETA just made a trend break today.
Zeta. Let's take a little peeky gander. I mean, I could see why I would like this. I mean, this is a momentum trade. This is what we're constantly trying to catch. The only thing I don't like about this is I don't see many opportunities. I see, a basing breakout structure here, but of course, like I always say, earnings ruins everything. You wouldn't have been able to play this because earnings, right? Then you got a trend break here. You could have played this trend break if you wanted to on a 10 or played off the bounce of the 10. But yeah, I'm not really, I'm starting to see this breakdown here because of the 21-day moving average is caught up to it. Obviously, it could have continuation. I don't know. I don't know. But the way I'm seeing this thing is it's getting choppy at the top. It has a volume blow off top right here. Big blow off. Boom. Wick. And then the next day it just takes a dump. So to me, that's a volume blow off. And this looks more like a short than it does a long. I wonder if I can get some shares of this. I'm going to take a look at this tomorrow morning. That's just my thoughts on that. I know SKE, a lot of us were watching SKE. This thing broke out, but it wouldn't have been a good play because here's the trend line, and it just didn't make a new higher low. I mean, technically it did, but this just looks kind of yucky. Now, this is when it looked the best, when it was just right here, because you had this and it got really tight. If it would have broken out from here, That would have been perfect. That's the whole reason why I was watching it. And if you guys remember, I was in a Dell short. So I got in this short in pre-market when it gapped all the way up here, right? And as it pulled back, I got in somewhere around 109. And this thing kept pulling back, and it came all the way down to here before market open, and then market open, it flew down here. And then it played within this area for a couple days. I added into this trade here, and it came back down. And when I noticed that today, it wouldn't break below any of its previous day's lows. So I decided to exit out of this trade for break even, because to me, everything started to look more strong. And so I absolutely had to exit that trade. And I'm very happy that I did, because it shows that, you know, I can stick to my plan. But if part of my plan is not sitting in a stock for 3 days, when it has it had a 4.4% ADR. I thought it had a 5% ADR, but regardless, if I'm sitting in a stock and I'm not making any money, it's not working for me, then I'm not in any type of momentum. I want momentum to the downside. If I get into a stock, especially after it's ramped up really hard, really fast because it got inducted to the S&P 500, and I'm trying to capitalize on that excitement, and then people start to sell, well, we got some of the sell, but we didn't have continuation. So if we don't get continuation, then I'm out of the trade. That's just my process. It might not be right for you, but that is me. That is how I trade. If I'm not making money, then why am I in the stock? BBAR, peaky please. Got you. I got you, big dog. BBAR. Okay, so this is looking good. I see two things. You know, we're close to this all-time highs, and we're starting to form a trend right here, which looks really good. It's created a new higher low. So now the next thing I would want to see is this thing get tight. I want to see it get tight right here. Maybe 3 days and then blast off. That would be nice to see. I don't know anything about this stock except for the technical analysis on this. Looks decent. We're getting a lot of volume coming into right here. Zamora says hymns. Take a look at hymns. You know, I had a lot of excitement about this stock, if you will. Way back here, if you guys remember, I was drawing these trend lines off of this huge undercut and rally, because we get these big pushes up, and some of them worked. Some of these worked. I was trying to draw trend lines here. It never broke out, just failed. Then we had more, you know, big pushes up and a trend line. This one ended up working out, but it wasn't very clean. But this thing just chopped around for a while and then came right back down. So we're just trying to hold above a 200-day moving average. And Zamara, I can't deny you that this obviously is so far a popular drug. I think all of this hype was, there was a lot to do. If I remember the news, they were trying to make a weight loss pill. And, you know, I didn't keep up with it or anything like that, but I could see this. I could see this doing something. Now, obviously, it needs to prove itself before I'm going to be interested in it. This thing would really need to get some volume and push up, and then pull back, and then create a base or a trend for me to be able to play off of. But I see what you're saying, though. Like it came through, it broke down. Now we're getting a nice little pop here. Our first area of resistance is clearly this right here. And if it can get up through that, maybe break through on volume, come back down, retest it, and then continue to head higher. That might be one way of this working out. But as of right now, I see two blow-off tops here. And we just, you know, for me, I just got to kind of wait. I got to wait and see what this has. We already went over SKE. One popular one, guys, that I know you guys have been bringing up quite a bit is PLTR. So I think we should talk about that just really quick before we go to TLN for what Jimmy just said. But PLTR has been showing to be very fruitful. If you guys, I forget, I think it was Beef Stewie, maybe Covey, I don't remember exactly, but somebody drew this trend line out down here, and I remember specifically saying that I don't care for it. You know, I don't care for the trend line. I don't care for, you know, its looks. I just don't care for it at all. And And I always say too, guys, I always say, just because I don't care for it doesn't mean that it's good or bad. You know, none of that means nothing. You know, if you guys have a process and a way of playing something, then you should take it. And right here, you can see there was also like a cup base that you could have played. There was a huge undercut and rally because of earnings, and then it had continuation. I also talked about this retest because this was its all-time highs retest. See this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 areas of support. After it breaks through, it comes right back down and tests that support. And now look at this beautiful, beautiful thing start to head higher. Now, obviously, it's extended right now, but I definitely would consider putting this on my watch list. You know, if you don't have PLTR on your watch list, it's a AI play, it's a government contract play, it's, you know, and it's popular.
Microsoft.
What's that?
Microsoft.
Microsoft play, yeah, because they just got a contract with them too, if I'm remembering correct.
Yep.
So yeah, so there's a lot going on there, and that might be worth. Another one too, guys, I seen, and you know, I hated this stock. I made some money on this pullback here, not as much as I wanted to. Kind of broke even on the whole stock completely, to be quite honest. But we had this breakout, and you know, we had this breakout first. Okay, so look at this daily, huge downtrend, big breakout. When was it? Earnings, boom, bada bing, bada boom. And then we pulled back to the 10-day, and now it's shooting up. Now, I didn't take this trade. I hate Affirm. I hate their business model. So I already have biases in this, but not just one that I'm keeping an eye on. And then, of course, we have TLN. It's 5.7 average daily range. This is in energy, Talon Energy Corporation. You know what? I can't remember. I've read about this. I think it has to do with, is it nuclear energy? Is it?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm just gonna read it really quick. Engages in the operation of power infrastructure and produces, selling electricity, capacity, and cellular services into wholesale power markets through its subsidiaries. The company was founded. Okay, cool. So when we look at something like this, I think it looks really, really good. I think we were drawing a trend line out on this before, and now look at this nice little curl as it held the 21-day moving average. This is a hard take for me, because see all this choppiness right here? This really, really kind of like makes me cringe when I see that. Don't really want to even play this stock because it looks like it would probably get choppy here too. Backed up to all-time highs here. I like the look. I don't like the look of it, I should say. I don't like the look.
Doing well.
What's that?
And the sector's not doing well.
Yeah, the energy sector's not doing well. It's not doing well. No. So, but yeah, I don't really have much for this. Let's put it this way. I don't see a setup. I don't see a setup on this, and then with its history, this really scares me. Like, I would not want to get in a trade at all in this when it's this choppy, where one day you can be up 14% and the next day be down by double. You know, it's not how I play. Now this has an average daily range of 5.7%. Then imagine being in or out of this thing at 14% in less than a day. You know, that I don't like it. But where it's at right now, it's showing it's a momentum leader. It's showing it's holding a 21-day moving average currently. You know, so I can't really argue too much about it, but it's doing its thing. What do you guys think? What else are you watching? Leslie, you got anything for me? What about you, Norm? Red Baron said he was watching, was it Chewy? I think he was saying he was watching Chewy. So if you guys remember, Hello Kitty was calling this thing out, creating a big fuss. We had this day. This was the Hello Kitty day. Big sell-off. You know, came all the way down to its 200-day moving average and popped back up. Now it's kind of forming like this top right here. Maybe this 3072 area. Maybe we can zoom out and get a better picture. I don't know. There's not really a ton going on here except for previous support now acting as resistance. But I don't know. When I look at these things, man, like I said, it's just choppy. It's choppy. You know, you don't know where it's going to go. There's no real structure behind it. I don't really care for these, you know, but people are drawn. People are really drawn to a lot of these stocks that are like this, you know. LMB finally broke that base, by the way. We were talking about that one. MREO, we were talking about this one too. It broke its trend, but I wouldn't have taken that kind of trend break. No way, no how.
Got a little crap stock for you that's moving in a uniform pattern that did come up. That was in our scan list. Unit. Exactly the way it sounds. Unit.
Okay. Yeah, that's nice. So if we zoom out to the bigger picture and we look the previous volume to the volume that's traded now, there's a lot more volume coming in. It's above a 200-day moving average. But yeah, it is a pretty crappy stock. They're not showing proof of concept just yet. New higher lows above all moving averages. You know, if it formed a base or a trend, I could get behind something like that. I know you like playing these, you know, with the stair step pattern. I really want you to start grabbing a lot of images, you know, of that. We got Kava. Yeah, we kind of went over Kava. We only touched on it really quick. So I like Kava, man. I know you guys all know I've been dying to get into this at a good time. This purple
I can't
line,
trade it, but I like it.
Yeah, it's a little expensive. But it's, you know, this volume here, guys, and then the dry up on the pullback. You know, I know they had insider selling and all that stuff, but you know, that's people taking profits, you know. It looks really good. I like Kava. There's no trade on it right now. It's just following a 10-day moving average. You could have played this base if you didn't have a rule like I do where I can't play anything below a 21-day moving average on the S&P 500, but hey, it's no big deal. You know, I was looking at NNE Red Baron. I was looking at that today. It's interesting. I mean, it's back to its breakout area, right? So this is where it broke out. And now it's being held in that area. The only issue is each bounce, if this bounce doesn't get above this bounce, it's just going to look weak, right? So we're getting some volume coming in. It's more than average volume. That's really, really good for the stock. And we might see some capitulation to the north side. But my biggest issues is right here, right at this $30 area. Boom. There is so many bag holders sitting right there. Everybody and their brother who has been in this stock is sitting at $30 right now. And let's just bring up NNE as well. And we'll do a quick anchored VWAP just to kind of see. So look at this. So $18 is going to be, $19 is going to be your first major area of resistance, right? But you can see here, just like I was pointing out, that $30, I said that $30 area. This anchored VWAP is showing that it's a little bit lower, around that $26 area. But remember, psychological areas work well, okay? So that's why I say 30. 25, 30. Between those areas, it's going to be one hell of a stock to try and break through. It's going to need more overwhelming volume than what you see here because there are many people stuck in NNE, okay? So I like it. I like what it's trying to do here. I like it trying to hold its base. I like the RS, and of course, I love the ADR. There's a lot that I like about the stock. There's a few things I don't like. The resistance up above. I don't like the resistance that it's at now, and it's got to get through its 50-day moving average, its anchored VWAP, its $30 area, and then all-time highs. So it's not a blue sky kind of stock. It's kind of one of those where if you're going to get in, you're going to have to hold on to it and give a lot of range for your stop because it's probably going to get choppy. Loco. What's
sector.
up? What's up, brother?
And it's in a bad sector.
Oh,
Right.
thank you for pointing that out.
Yep.
Bad sector.
There was
Down sector.
there was El Pollo Loco.
I'm looking at Loco, El Polo Loco. So that was that.
Pollo Loco.
That's the food place, right? Where they sell tacos and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I remember looking this up with you a couple months back, Samara, because we were talking about Kava, SG, we were talking about Chipotle, we were talking about all of those stocks. And so, yeah, Loco's looking really good. It's looking like it's holding up very well. It looks like it's trying to hold on to the 21-day moving average. If it breaks this 21-day moving average, that's not a good sign, but it has been constantly trying to work its way up. Now, it is a slower mover at only 2.5%. But it's definitely one to keep an eye on if you're interested in these, because it is relatively strong compared to the rest of the market. So, good find. Well, I think that's all I got. If you guys don't have anything else.
I do.
Okay. Dan Bob?
A couple, 1 O.
Oh, yeah, you like that O, don't you?
Yeah, I'm looking at it.
Oh.
It's a REIT, so it's like an ETF, but
Sure, yeah. Well, it's really slow. O is slow at 1.26%.
Right.
So
ETF.
it's moving like the Dow Jones Industrial.
But structure-wise,
Reality income. We have a big cup with handle, and it's just breaking out of that handle, and it's holding on to that 10-day moving average. I mean, it looks solid. You know, it looks solid. Depending on how you like to play these things, I mean, hold on to it until it loses its momentum, or give it room to retest this breakout area of $60. I don't know what you would do here. But yeah, the Reality Income Corporation is doing really well, it looks like, and it has plenty of room to head higher.
good real estate's just really starting to kick off again. So
Yeah, you can definitely tell by the sector ETF right here. This real estate, man, that it really is doing a really well job. You know, and you can see O looks a lot like this. It's just XLRE moves a little quicker. It looks like about the same, but it's a little stronger though. So instead of playing O, I suggest playing XLRE, to be quite honest. If you were into trying to getting into something like that. I know somebody brought up Meta, and we can look at NU. So Meta, I have alerts set at 543. I'm not really interested in it unless it does something like that, because we have this downtrend here. If it breaks that downtrend, that's great, but it put in a new lower low. So not interested, you know. But if Meta does break out of this base high at 541, 542-ish area, I'm going to be going into METU, is it? What's the 3XXX METU? I think it's METU. Yeah, the 2X. This is the 2X bull of Meta, I believe. Yeah, there it is. Meta 2X bull. So when we do break that area, I'm going to come right over to here, and I'm going to buy my shares through this. Just so that way we got a nice trade put on for that. Oh, yeah, we can look at NVIDIA. So NVIDIA had a nice pop, and one thing I wanted to point out with NVIDIA, and I feel like I've seen it better on this charting platform, but when I looked at NVIDIA, this is what I see, guys. Look at this huge flagging pattern. That's what I see, personally. And, you know, it was really hard for me not to pull the trigger here, but that's not part of my rule set. But I wasn't surprised to see it pop back up. I think it can get, you know, make a new higher low over here somewhere, and we'll just get nice and tight before blast off. So I think NVIDIA's still got plenty of time to trade sideways. It's just in an area of price discovery right now. It's trying to figure out what price the buyers and the sellers kind of want to meet. We have NU. So NU is looking all right. We have this big, you know, the carry trade sell-off, big pop back up. Now it's just kind of chopping at this top. What worries about me, these chops at the top, is almost like it's exhausting here, and a bunch of people are trading places, and now it's just going to roll over. So that's what worries me about NU. And I haven't looked at this one in a while, but look at Root. Root's below a 200-day moving average. Root is done for. It's done for. Unless it gets back up above this 200-day moving average, I won't even look at this stock now. That's crazy, you know. And you know what really is crazy about Root is they actually have really solid fundamentals. The last time I looked, like when we were over here, Root has really solid fundamentals. They really do. They are a real company, but they just got overvalued really quick because of the hype. So they put in a triple top and failed, you know. So it is what it is. You know, that's the root of all evil. So
I see what you did there.
Haha, thank you. So yeah, that's basically what I got going on here, guys. Is I got some stocks. I'm still looking at trend and base breakouts, but with the S&P 500 being on risk on now, I'm risk on. As of 551.50, I was risk on. I called my financial advisor. I said, let's put my money to work. 40 to 60%, you know, 40 bonds, 60 stocks. Let's make some money. And if tomorrow we break below, I'm calling them again and I'm gonna say, hey, I'm gonna risk off. And I'll do that. I don't care how many times here until we end up like this, where we break a 21-day moving average right here and I get in and we ride it until we break below it, until here. That's what I'm trying to get a part of, guys, because here I was risk back on. Here, I was risk off for one day, and then we were risk back on, risk off, missed the whole carry trade, missed this whole damn thing, got back in, back out, back in. So, still not losing money on my long-term account. Swing trading, as long as I stay and wait to be risk on until we're above the 21-day moving average, my strategy works, and it works wonders. Other than that, it's just taking shorts in a weak market and doing it on 1/3 share size. So that's all I've been doing. That's all I've been focusing on. And I hope you guys are doing well. I know I've been watching a lot of you guys in the Discord post, you know, whether it's your trades or what you've been reading or any type of motivational, you know, what you've learned from a book, these quotes. I love it. I absolutely love reading and learning other people's progression. That's the whole reason why we made this Discord. That's the whole reason why we're here, guys, so we can lean on one of another, learn from each other, and congratulate each other on those milestones. So congratulations to you guys for being here, showing up, being 1% better each and every day. And I hope you guys have a safe a trading day tomorrow. Okay. We'll post in the Discord anything that pops up as far as any tickers. All right, guys. I hope you guys have a good night, and peace.